even the most sceptical fan who, understandably, through all the years of disappointments and letdowns, have never really truly believed this would happen. I don't think you can look at the news today and you can watch the TV and see Rachel Reeves, the Chancellor, mentioning the Birmingham Sports Quarter. So welcome back to BCFC Royal Blue in what is a really monumentous day for the club because at the time of recording, the government have just announced the funding for the new tram line and infrastructure throughout the West Midlands. Now, for the West Midlands, there'll be £2.4 billion worth of investment, and that includes that tram line that's going to go from the Birmingham City Centre to the new sports quarter. Now, me and Matt have not planned this at all. We had another podcast planned, and we decided that we couldn't not talk about this on such a really monumentous day for the club.
Yeah, monumentous twice in the intro. I like it. Big word, but it does feel that way, doesn't it? This does feel huge, and I think what would be good to remind people, if you haven't watched it, we did a video last week about what the milestones might be or the stumbling blocks might be in that process. So check that out because that's a good video as well, just to give people an indication of what.
That talks about the process, doesn't
what we're
it?
in for.
Basically, what happens next.
Exactly, but no, Dad, completely agree. This is huge, and we all got laughed at, didn't we, when this all first came out?
There's some great stuff on social media today.
My word, absolutely. I hope my employer doesn't watch. I've barely done any work today. I've been on X all day, pretty much scrolling. I mean, Blues fans, you are merciless. The amount of bookmarks from a year ago, 18 months ago, just absolutely brilliant. And we know there's been lots of comments from other fan bases about it, but no, absolutely hilarious on social media today. And this just feels like something special. And I feel like since Knighthead took over, we all knew as a fan base we were on to something special, but this just feels like the next step up of something massive, not just happening for Birmingham City Football Club, Birmingham City, the actual city of Birmingham. It's going to be huge jobs. It's going to benefit the economy. There's going to be good transport links. This is huge, and I'm so excited to see what the plans are.
Me too, and I think you're right, Matt. This point now is the point where even the most sceptical fan who, understandably, through all the years of disappointments and letdowns, have never really truly believed this would happen. I don't think you can look at the news today and you can watch the TV and see Rachel Reeves, the Chancellor, mentioning the Birmingham Sports Quarter.
I know.
She actually mentioned it. So you can't not actually believe that this is not going to happen. It's almost like that turning point in the whole thing now. And we as Birmingham City supporters now can look forward with positivity and as much as we can, certainty that this will actually be built now.
Yeah, but look at Tom Wagner, Dad. He was lobbying with the local politicians. He was in Downing Street. Everyone laughed again, saying, "What's he doing?" Other fan bases laughed, "What's he doing? What's he doing?" And actually, how clever has he been in this process? He's been rallying. He's been getting his name on the map, getting Birmingham's name on the map, talking about investment, and the amount of money they're putting into it. And, when things like HS2 come out on social media and say this is going to be for the link, and then it can't get more official than the Chancellor coming on telly saying that there's earmarks $2.4 billion for the Birmingham Sports Quarter. So no, amazing things. And
did you see that thing I posted on X as well from the mayor?
Yes,
he actually said
top priority.
He said Birmingham are back and Birmingham City are back. So I thought that was interesting as well. So everybody now is on board with this. We know this going to happen. And it's just really like, what is the next stage now? Well, the next stage, I don't know if you, I had a quick look at the Keep Right On podcast before I came out. They did a quick podcast, and they had Jane Hayes on there. I think she's their financial or political editor. She's somebody who's
been on before about the best stage.
She's in the know, and she came out with some interesting information. She's saying that the next stage is probably now that they will look at submitting planning applications. That could be August or a little bit later, and that will really get the ball rolling because obviously it all has to go through planning permission and all that type of thing. But it won't be long before we will start to see images of what the not just the stadium, which is what we all want to see really, but the actual wider sports quarter is going to look like as well. This is a real significant point in our history for Birmingham City as a club. This is a massive thing. We can't underestimate the significance of what this actually means for us in our future.
Amazing things are happening at this club, aren't they? But we feel it as a fan base. We've been in League One last season. We're now in the Championship. We feel like we're going to have a great summer. We feel like we're a club on the rise. And I think we ended the last podcast, Dad, by saying we're not just a club who's investing in the stadium, investing in the sports quarter. We are definitely a club moving in the right trajectory. And this is only the start for Birmingham City Football Club, which is a great feeling considering the amount of hurt we've had over the past sort of 10 or 15 years.
It's great, isn't it, Matt? And it's lovely to see what Tom Wagner said as well. He put out a brief statement, didn't he, saying that this is the springboard that they needed now to push the project forward. And that, I suppose from his perspective, to invest that amount of money into Birmingham and the club and the wider city and the sports quarter and what he's doing, he needed some assurances that there was going to be some backing to do this, because what's the point, he said, what's the point in putting a massive venue, let's say, in a location that people can't get in and out of?
Yeah.
So that's why this is such a significant day for Birmingham City. The fact that it's all over the news, it's not something that we're going to build a stadium in 10 years or 5 years or 15 years. It's actually really going to happen. The land is purchased, still being purchased, as I understand it, little pockets here and there. But it's not going to be long now. I think we'll start to see some real progress now as things move forward. What's interesting as well, the tram line will be built, will be called phase 1. That'll go to the sports quarter, and then what Jane Hayes was saying on the Keep It On podcast, that funding covers that, but the rest of it will be other funding. So for the tram line to go beyond that to Washwood East and eventually into Solihull and the NEC and places like that, that'll be great if it goes to the NEC. We can get the tram straight to the stadium, can't we? So that'll be good for us, which is very selfish, I know, but I mean that's many years away to have the full line completed.
Yeah, but it's still exciting times, though, isn't it, Dad? And as you said, like all these things getting ticked off. It's like all the different. I'm sure Knighthead and Wagner, when they're around their boardroom, they've almost got like a little checklist. It feels like there's tick.
So somebody commented as well about calling him Wagner. So you have more respect to call him Mr. Wagner or Tom or something like that. But
I'll stick with Wagner personally. I mean, that's a bit too formal. I don't know. Anyway. But I mean, do you think in his offices, Mr. Wagner, Mr. Tom Wagner, Sir Tom Wagner, do you think like this was all part of the blueprint? Do you think like he's almost like on paper to say like, put the plans in, lobby with the government, and now this plan is almost now coming full circle on itself, where he's kind of put all these things in place with his board and his team to make sure it all gets over the line, because they're very savvy business people, aren't they?
I reckon that this thought process would have happened before they even bought the club. So when they were looking at the land and the potential and stuff like that, these would have all been the consideration. So they were, he's got clever people around him as well, hasn't he? So they'll know what's needed and what needs to happen. And he would have known that he would have come to his first game and probably got stuck in traffic. And he'd know that
Sheffield United at home, that was.
Yeah,
that was the first game, because I know I think he put 10 grand behind the bar at St.Andrews at the time, and everyone was getting excited, and it was the season when Sheffield United went up, so there was nothing on it, but we lost it, and then obviously the takeover happened in that summer.
Yeah, but I think they would have been aware of the issues, because it's a massive investment, isn't it? So they would have known, but obviously knowing that you've got to get the government and the council on board and the mayor and actually doing it, it just shows you really, Tom Wagner. I mean, what a guy. I mean, he just oozes confidence, doesn't he? You talk to you just want to walk through a brick wall for him. He's got that air about him, hasn't he? And clearly he's shown that he knows how to get things done. And I say these are big steps, because the council could, or the government could have easily not supported this. And then that would have been a real dilemma then for Tom Wagner and for Knighthead. And what do? Now they've got like a piece of land that they've a very large piece of land that they've purchased. But if you don't get the transport links right, it does devalue the land, because you can't get these people in there. So thankfully it's all happened. We're not in that position. I think it's a really exciting time for us.
It also makes us even more appealing, Dad. If you're on the fence about signing for Birmingham City or someone else, let's just, because we're not going to say that we're not that arrogant to think that we're going to get every single person we're after. There's going to be competition from other clubs. But if you are a player, because let's bring it back to what everyone wants. We want a winning football team still. And don't get me wrong, this sports quarter is amazing, and we all know it's going to transform Birmingham City, and it's going to be incredible. But ultimately, we all want to watch a winning football team. But imagine if you're a footballer and you're weighing up whether to sign for Sunderland or Birmingham or whatever. I just pick Sunderland out of the sky. And you've got all these amazing things happening in the city of Birmingham. It just makes us more attractive, don't it? All these things, the training ground, the sports quarter.
As a club, you're right. And you mentioned at the beginning as well as Matt, which is a really, really important point. It makes the city more attractive. So imagine that it's going to be a multi-purpose stadium. So there's going to be big sporting events, there'll be concerts and all sorts of other things going on around the sports quarter. The sports quarter is going to have hotels and restaurants, and it's going to be a leisure area. There's going to be it's going to be a place that and what Rachel Reeves mentioned was the investment is going to be in a really sort of underdeveloped area of East Birmingham. It's one of the sort of most undeveloped areas in the whole of the country.
It's been very economically deprived.
So it's going to be bringing it all back to life. It's going to bring it to life, and if it is ever fully alive. But it's absolutely staggering, really. And you still have to pinch yourself, don't you, to say you're watching all these things happening on the news and all these people talking about Birmingham City, and you're thinking, it's my club, This is after all those years of heartbreak and letdowns and disappointment, and suddenly we've got this. It's just I would never have believed this in my lifetime. This would happen.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
And again, I know we've done an entire video on like the milestones and the process and stuff. But for our absolute crash course, you said you listened to the Keep Right On pod. There's planning permission in place.
There's not planning permission.
Sorry, not planning permission. Just plans being. You said that they were talking about Birmingham City making plans.
Yeah.
What does the next 12 months look like in this process, do you think, from a building surveyor's perspective?
So what will happen now is that like Tom said, this is the springboard. So he'll now push along with all of they'll be working very closely with architects. I doubt very much there'll be one architect in this. There'll probably be a lead architect, but there'll be lots of other architects involved. So they'll be putting plans together for the stadium and for the various phases and see what the master plan looks like. Where they can, they'll be preparing outline planning permission documents just to get them sorted. But there'll be a lot of things like I talked about in that previous podcast about like ground investigations and surveys being done, environmental surveys, noise impact surveys, traffic assessments, and all this type of thing going on. Of course, they've still got to work out where this new tram line's going to go. And how does that interact with the stadium? Because obviously, if the sports quarter's under development, from a safety perspective, a tram line's a separate project. So how do you separate those tomatoes? There'll be loads. There's absolutely loads going on.
We can't talk about tram lines, Dad. That one in Digbeth just does your head in, doesn't it? The one that just goes nowhere.
Yeah.
Every single time we walk through Digbeth, you say, "Where's this tram line going?"
Well, we know where it's going now, so maybe that was built ready for this. But that bit where it goes, I can't bit to the bit where I said it just goes to a dead end. I reckon that'll be the extension to the east side. But I don't know. But so basically there'll be a lot of activity now, a lot going on, a lot of meetings. There'll be a lot of high level conversations within Nighthead with investors and potential partners to be involved in this project. Because this today isn't. We're so happy and proud as Birmingham City Sports, but this is going to put a light on in a lot of developers and businesses' minds, thinking, hang on, this is going to change my business, or I want to be involved in this. So a lot of people are going to be standing up today and thinking, actually, that's I want to be part of that. So it ain't just about Birmingham City; it's also about the wider Birmingham City community, and also as well there'll be local involvement as well. We know that this is going to create jobs and put huge amounts of money into the Birmingham economy, and make it a really, really attractive place. Imagine HS2 is finished in an X amount of years' time. The tram line's all up and running. The sports quarter's finished. That's going to be a venue for many years to come for hundreds, thousands, millions of people over the period of time. So imagine that boost to the economy. It's absolutely staggering, really.
And again, I know it's hard to guess. I know it's hard to know what the proper details and intricacy of this is. When do you think they might break ground? 2 years? Yeah.
It depends what they're doing, because part of a project of this scale is not just about the buildings. What about the infrastructure in terms of the road structure?
Yeah.
So the drainage, the services, the water, the electrics, so there's a lot of work that goes into to get it ready. So you might not see buildings going up for a little while, but there could be work starting on the site quite soon, actually, to start to get it ready to do the investigations, find out what's needed and when. But of course, you can't plan electrical routes, drainage routes, water routes until you know where the buildings are.
Yeah, of course.
But there'll be some thoughts about that as well. They'll be looking at where the existing sewers are and all the drainage currently is, and whether that needs to be diverted and all that type of thing. But that'll all be something that'll be in the early phases. There's something called enabling works as well, where they get the site ready for it to be developed. So there might be contaminated land that needs remediation. So if there is any contaminated land, that will need to be taken off and brought new ground or soil or material brought in. But there's a huge amount. It's a massive project.
But it's just interesting, again, because I know some people might not have watched our video, just to hear a little bit of a crash course from a building surveyor's perspective, really. So I think it's always interesting to hear about timelines and what goes into things, and 'cause it's complicated, isn't it? It's a massive, massive project. When you're talking billions of pounds, that transformation of the east side of Birmingham, effectively, this is huge. So
Imagine what's going to happen as well when we actually start to see the stadium going up as well.
I know.
So
Certain people of the areas of the city are going to lose their mind.
Yeah. I mean, this is. I mean, at the end of the day, we have struggled for all these years, and teams in the local area have had better times on the pitch, but times are changing now, and they can't not see that. I mean, if you're a Villa fan and you can't not see what's going on at Birmingham City and not be a little bit concerned, because they've always had the last laugh over us for a number of years now, haven't they? In terms of the fact that they've done better on the pitch and they've won one or two things. Although we have won the last major trophy, to be honest. But
they don't like that, Dad. You can't mention that.
So why?
They live in 1982, and that's it.
Yeah, but I mean, to be fair, they were champions of Europe. How old was I then? I'm 60 now, so. I would have been 17 then when that happened. But it's just, you can't take it away though. They did win it, but times are changing, and as much as we have this rivalry between Birmingham City and Aston Villa, and they've always laughed at us. They're not laughing now.
No,
I'll tell you, they're not laughing now.
No.
Well, they are. If the ones that don't believe.
Yeah,
but that's up to them. They can go. But you can't not look at the news today and see the information that's come out and all the stuff that's happening about the support and the funding. If you want to believe that's not happening, that's up to you.
Do you know about the Chancellor pumping money into the city?
The mayor.
Yeah. You can't teach stupid at that point, can you? So
no.
That is exciting times. I'm really looking forward to seeing the plans. I think as Birmingham City supporters, I think we're really excited to see some concepts for the stadium, seeing what that might look like. I know there's a lot of not rumours, but conversations on social media about preferences, what people would like to see, what they wouldn't like to see. But overall, absolutely fantastic day to be a Birmingham City supporter, to hear the news from Rachel Reeves. Get all the notifications from HS2, the mayor, all these things. It feels like it's all coming together now perfectly for us. Yeah. And long may it continue. We are certainly a club definitely on the rise again.
Yeah, we are, and it's such a significant day for us as a football club and as a City of Birmingham as well. And just want to say a massive thank you to Tom Wagner and Nighthead for investing in the club, believing in us in terms of what we could do as a fan base and the future of Birmingham City and beyond. So Tom, if you do watch his podcast, a massive thank you from myself and from the Birmingham City fan base. We absolutely just astounded by what you've done already at the club. So thanks very much. Hope you've enjoyed the podcast as always. If you did, don't forget to give us a thumbs up. We'd love to have your comments as well below, and pop your comments below. Let us know what you think about the news today and about what you think the vision of the sports quarter will be, and maybe when you think that you'd like to be in the new stadium. Anything at all really about the sports quarter, the development of Birmingham City. Pop a comment below. If you haven't subscribed to our channel already and you'd like to, then don't forget to hit that red subscribe button, and there's a bell notification next to that if you want to get notifications every time we put a new podcast out. If you haven't checked us out on our social media channels as well, don't forget that we have an Instagram page and next page, and we also have our podcast now on Spotify, so you can pop along there to listen or watch your podcast if that's the way you choose to do so. You'll see the handles appearing on the screen for all of these options right now. So that's it for this podcast. Hope you've enjoyed it. And myself and Matt will see you on the next one, all about Birmingham City.